Hello everyone, welcome back. In this episode here, I found this very interesting article, and it's called Finance Professor: Bitcoin Could Evolve into an Existential Threat Worthy of a Science Fiction Movie. Okay, I hope I said that right. And this is a picture which is very, very funny. Um, and in my opinion, okay, so someone wrote about it, and I read it, and I loved reading it. It was very interesting, uh, and I love the picture. And yes, it can be true that this could be Bitcoin if you want it to be. It really could. Uh, I think it's kind of scary. What he talks about is everything I've already kind of talked about. But um, remember I told you about Bitcoin, can it be a financial weapon? Can it become a nuclear bomb to destabilize another nation? And in some ways, he's saying yes to that, right? But it can be that if you want it to be that. Excuse me. It can be that if you want it to be that. So um, that's how you defend yourself, believe it or not. You basically say, hey, you know, don't mess with me, or this is a mutual destruction here. You destroy me, I'll destroy you. And this is kind of what it is. But I read the thing, and yeah, I can agree. Bitcoin can be that. There's no doubt. I've asked before, could it be that in a worst case scenario, and yes. But he also, as I read down here, there's a part where he gets, in my opinion, a little, and he shows the BitC flash crash, is what he calls it. That's the volatility. You got to read the whole thing. It's very interesting. I loved reading it. Um, but towards somewhere he talks about how because there's a limited amount of, well, it's somewhere. You'll have to read the whole thing. But he talks about how because of the limited amount, set amount, that it creates a volatility because it didn't realize, um, I guess, human, um, what do you call it? Human intervention or human emotion into traders. Okay, so it's kind of what he's saying. In reality, Bitcoiners are not central bankers, but high-risk commodity traders, which is yes, I am. Okay, I trade on volatility. I trade on price movement. That's how I mine my Bitcoins, my existing Bitcoins. So to suggest they do the equivalent work of dedicated and experienced central bankers is farcical, which I agree. We're not we're not central bankers, man. We're investors. We 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 literally buy and sell nothing, and the fact that someone's willing to buy it at that price at that time is what it's worth. It's kind of weird. It blows people away. I understand it blows me away, but if you ever buy a Bitcoin and or find someone and ask him for a Bitcoin, if if you think this is crazy, but if you don't want to pay any money, go find. I'm sure you have somebody or some people you probably know, or there's probably people that but you don't know that they have Bitcoins. Just ask around, see if anybody have Bitcoins, and maybe you'll be surprised. Ask him for one Bitcoin. I mean, it's cheap enough. Um, Matter of fact, if they have an account at Mt. Gox, what you can do just to say, hey, I'll show you how ridiculous this is. Why don't you have somebody give you one Bitcoin to an Mt. Gox account? So you have to set up an account at Mt. Gox, and they'll send you a Bitcoin because they're in a Mt. Gox account, so they could send you the Bitcoin. And what is the price of a Bitcoin at Mt. Gox? 319. Excuse me, 320. So it's spiked up a little bit right there. So this is fascinating here. This is let me tell you what I'm doing with Mt. Gox. A lot of people think this is uh, a dead whatchamacallit, exchange. But here's the thing. So uh, I think I did an episode on excuse me. I did an episode previously about the guy who um, protested in front of Mt. Gox, and basically in the video he was saying he didn't get any response or anything. Well, I will have to say that I've been communicating with support. It's kind of off and on. It's not immediate, but we do reply back and forth. And I did resend another support question, and it was kind of really an interesting. It's more of a question and a proposal that I made, because one of the reports I heard that maybe people were trading bitcoins within each other in Mt. Gox in the real world for actually this price. So this Mt. Gox account is a world in itself, where you're trading a price on this particular index. So can you realize any of the bitcoins? No. Could you realize some of the some of your money? Yeah, you can, but you're gonna have to go off of this particular price. And so, excuse me. Hold on, I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. So, anyways, uh, I was wondering if you could trade just in this exchange in itself. You can realize money if you could find somebody else who wants to set up an account at Mt. Gox, and then in the real world, uh, you can trade off of this particular price in the exchange of Mt. Gox in itself. I know that's kind of weird and kind of strange how you would do that, but that's the only way I could figure how you can really realize any money out of Mt. Gox. If you could find somebody else who wants to go into Mt. Gox and in the real world, like literally, you know, send you money, and then, or you send them the bitcoins. You would literally have to trust somebody to do that, but or you could find someone to escrow, or be one investor to another investor and kind of communicate back and forth that way. A trusted person in between, an investor that, well, you would have to, he would have to make money on, of course. That would be the whole point. So there's a lot of ways you can still work within Mt. Gox in itself. Um, so, anyways, I kind of send that request in to see if something like that was uh, well, okay with them. You know, that wasn't too weird, because it did say we can trade or send bitcoins to each other within Mt. Gox, right? So let's see how that comes out. If they say yes, I might have some good trades for people that are still in Mt. Gox and looking for a way out, or maybe a trade in. Like I said, this is Bitcoin, a very independent, um, thing. It's independent of every of any exchange. So, um, sorry about that. I'll just get back to this. So, I would say give it a try. Um, that way, if it doesn't work out for you, who cares? I'll buy it from you. So, let me see here. What else? And the thing that he talks about here, I'm assuming it's a he. Um, uh, so, uh, is that the limited amount of bitcoins? That's true, but the thing is, you can fractionalize it to infinity. The decimal point being here, and then fractionalize the the Bitcoin to infinity, just as much as the money supply, like 1, 2, 3, 4 money supply can be created to infinity, right? So he doesn't understand that part, I think. Um, and yes, that's why it is volatile, because that's how much money is volatile. It just shows how much money is volatile. Um, and and because of that volatility, I can use Bitcoin to increase my purchasing power or take advantage of my purchasing power. Uh, when the price of Bitcoins are high, I'm going to be purchasing real assets, real things. I may be able to convert. Actually, I can do that now. I can convert my Bitcoins into a legal tender fiat currency since I live in America. In America, so um, you got to try it. That's all I can say. You gotta experience the Bitcoin trade and understand it before you can talk about it. Because I know what you're talking about, but I don't think you know what I'm talking about. That's just my opinion, sir. But anyways, if you just read on, I mean, just it's very good. I like it a lot. But I think that one point that yes, it's a fixed amount of bitcoins, and I can see why he thinks this way because he's thinking a fixed amount of the you know money being a fixed value, like $1 is $1, no matter how much they print, it's still $1. Or how many $100 they print, it's still $100. And that's true. But I don't know if they realize that uh, everything else doesn't have a face value. So what people do is just raise the price of their stuff to compensate for the printing. Okay? So, excuse me. So, so I think that's the point where this point right here, I think maybe the part where we disagree on that, and I guess we'll just have to disagree. But that's my experience, and I'm trading bitcoins, and even when the market's going down, I'm still realizing gains either in bitcoins or U.S. dollars. It depends how if I short, I'm buying U.S. dollars or selling my bitcoins for U.S. dollars, and then I just go back into it when the price goes back up, or when I cover my position. So um, yes, yes, it is high risk commodity trading. Yes, it is volatile because you have to realize money is volatile. Um, and yes, we're all taking risk, but this is something you have to understand. You have to know what Bitcoin is and how it works, and you have to know also, most importantly, what money is and how money works, and how you can use the two to well generate wealth. So I'm not a central banker. I don't care about being a central banker. What I do care is that me and my family uh, would enjoy the fruits of my labor. Um, this is for me my labor, my work. This is how I produce my income, and I'm basically trading, making gains, never realizing, and in the process, actually moving money around because I'm dealing in Bitcoin to U.S. dollar. So I'm converting my Bitcoin to U.S. dollar when the price is right for me to make a purchase of an asset or commodity or product or for use. Um, all I do is just expend my Bitcoins and then buy back in, covering my position. So I'm just using what I've already put in, and then I'm refilling it. So in that sense, I'm a purely a user. And then when I invest it, when I use it for investment purposes, now I'm an investor, right? But my trades is how I mine. You see how that works? So this is how it works in the real world, not in a video game world, which I also do. Okay, but I think you can start in the video game world because it's. Let me see here. Mt. Gox is pretty much like a video game world at this point, but if you make out like a bandit and you know how to trade, uh, I will I will say, hey man, you're a pretty good trader as well as a good professor and what else? Let me see here. This author has a very looks like a well. Okay, I don't know if that's the author, is it? Let me see here. It's quoted from someone. Let me see. Mark T. Williams, contributor, and then I'm assuming that's him. He gave some of his credentials here, which are very impressive. Williams, a risk management expert, former Federal Reserve Bank examiner, and ex-commodities trading floor senior executive, teaches finance in the Boston University School of Management. Okay, and gives some more stuff. So he provided testimony. Okay, so there you go. And so I think this person, if you start out, okay, let me scroll down. This is your article. I did enjoy it very much. It was really well written. I loved reading it, and I like the picture too, because you're right. This, if you want this to be Bitcoin, that can be Bitcoin. It all depends how you want to use it. Like, you know how the criminals, they used it to commit crimes? Well, you know, that's what they did with it. But someone who really knows what Bitcoin is and how it works and what it is, you can make Bitcoin this if you wanted to. You're right. But I would say if you did a killing at Mt. Gox, because Mt. Gox is a video game by right now, and if you traded commodities, give it a shot. Try one Bitcoin and see how much Bitcoins you can accumulate on a trade. You know, it couldn't hurt, right? At this point, this is what you're probably used to, like something that you go in, you can't really do anything without. You know, you're just trading, right? You're trying to make a gain on the price movement. Give it a shot. Go open an account at Mt. Gox, and if you come out with a lot of Bitcoins, I will buy. If you give me a good offer, we'll negotiate. But I will buy your Bitcoins, and I have an account here, so I will buy them from you. You just send it to me, and then I'll show you how it works. All right, and I think you're gonna like it. You know, it's gonna blow you away. That's all I can say. But anyways, so let's end this on some chart episodes. I guess it wouldn't hurt. So let's see what's happening here. Excuse me. All right. So, oh, this is so long and depressing, but it's there. You can still play on the action if you want. Get all the Bitcoins you can. So it did spike up out of here, which was really interesting. I don't know if that's going to do anything, but it came down much lower and is just still staying below this line. So excuse me. It could be a slow death or a very, very closed, exclusive trade within the world of Mt. Gox. Here, let me see if I can. Anyways, it's not working. There we go. So it's going to be a very exclusive trade in Mt. Gox here. So, anyways, let's go on to the other exchanges. Let's start with this is BitC. Okay. And I've had this line here for a while. It's finally kind of hovering around it, still moving at it now. So we'll see what happens. It's maintaining, and right now it's a 50-50 to go up or down. Whatever works for me, you know. I find a way to make a trade. I either expend it for use, or I'll expend it for maybe an investment in the financial business, financial sector. That's what's great about Bitcoin, or investment in real estate, or business, or gold. You could cash out your Bitcoins for gold. Someone will trade for gold. Okay. Um, excuse me. I'm trying to get over this horrible cold here. So there's a lot of things you could do. Like I said, it all depends on the exchanges. And here's another thing. You can still do hyper trading. All right. You can cash out of Mt. Gox if you can find someone who has a Mt. Gox account, or wants to start up a Mt. Gox account and buy from you directly. Maybe at a discount price, or maybe at whatever the price is at that price right there. So that exchange becomes a very exclusive exchange. But what's cool is you can find somebody in the real world to cash you out. So there's a way to interact, move funds. Here's another one. You can have between these two. You can have Bitcoins between these two and trade off of each other, or have basically have an account with each, and you're basically making the same trades. So you're kind of getting a 2-for-1. Although you could buy two over there and two over here, but you're kind of spreading your risk out to the different exchanges. Mt. Gox, I don't know what you're going to do, but there is a play there. For anyone who's desperate, you can use this. What I would recommend is, if you're going to get in the Bitcoin trade, these are numbers that you can use to your price advantage. So it doesn't always have to be the index, this particular index, or this exchange price be moved, or this doesn't have to move. You can move the price yourself in the real world, okay? Because the real world has its own set of rules. All right, each market has its own set of rules. But what I do is I base it off of these prices. And so, if Mt. Gox is low, guess what? That's the price I'm going to buy Bitcoins now. All right? Or I'm going to base it off of here, or in between these two low prices. You see how that works? So you got to understand how Bitcoin works by trading it, not just playing a video game on the exchange. So let me see here. Let's stop Bitsy, and it's doing the same thing. But you see it's a different price range and different price movement. So, like for example, you did mention that flash crash. Let me see here. This flash crash right here went down to what, $100? Well, it doesn't even show anymore. Let me see here. There it is. Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, if I was a trader, this is what you trade for. But that only happened at Bitsy. It didn't happen over at Bitstamp. Anyways, this concludes my episode. I'll end it off of Bitsy now that Bitsy's the highest price, or not Bitsy, Bitstamp. And I hope you all enjoyed this episode here. Feel free to like or dislike, even leave a comment or a video response. As usual, stay tuned for the next episode. Bye now.